computer, my dyno that works better than my new one. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Oh, it's okay.
This one's been working all the time, so I'm gonna stay here for a while.
All right, guys. So if there's really, so did we have any concerns or questions at all about this part? I know you guys have been going through it.
No, I'm
No?
just not very good at it yet.
Okay. All right. Have you guys been into, were you guys in sales jobs before this?
Yes, I was.
Awesome. What did you sell?
Rainbow vacuum cleaners.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's really, that takes a lot of talent right there, because that's not an easy sell.
Yeah.
You got to build value out of very little, for sure. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely all about building value.
Yeah. Did you do well? Did you like it?
Yeah, I did pretty good. And until we flooded back in Harvey, and so that kind of screwed up the whole thing. But they called me in a different office, actually. The office I was out of closed down, and a different office called, and they're like, "We'd really like you to come work for us," but it was too far. So.
Okay. And how did you end up finding an opportunity here?
Through Facebook.
Okay.
Like a Facebook group.
And you guys are with Casey and Drew, or just Drew?
I'm actually under Blake.
Blake, nice. Blake is
Yeah.
the man. That's awesome. So that's good. Okay. Did you know Blake? Is that where you found it, from Facebook?
No, I had posted something in Facebook, and Elise messaged me and was like, reached out and was like, "Hey, so if you're interested in this, I can send you some more information." And I was like, "Well, it doesn't hurt to look."
That's good. Okay.
Kind of
Awesome.
fun.
Good. So guys, the needs analysis, it's definitely the most important part. I can say that it's the most important part that actually sells the need, but you have to make sure the very beginning is spot on as well. I always would tell everybody to look at it almost like an upside down triangle, where you have the rapport and you have the control, and you got like the intro to the company, A+ ratings and everything. And then you got the obviously term versus whole, the educating there, and like the needs is last, and then closing is even further down there, right? That would be like a good way to look at the actual presentation. But guys, the better that you would do, the better you guys do with rapport and control in the intro, the easier that closing is going to be, and also the needs analysis is going to be as well. If you flip that over and it was like a pyramid, and you took out these two levels right here, the rest of it would kind of collapse. And that's really what you want to make sure that you spend a lot of time getting down first, because a lot of the needs analysis is just memorizing the words and building that need. And sometimes you might forget the script and go off the heart a little bit, but they're going to be much more inclined to listen to that, you building the need to them. They're going to hear it with a different perspective. They're gonna take it from a different perspective from you. They're gonna understand that you care, and that you're almost recommending and looking out for what's best, instead of just telling and teaching. So that's one thing. If you guys are still practicing, haven't really done it in the real sit yet, that's one thing that's going to make it a lot easier for you. Have you guys started a sit at all, or done an intro or rapport?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've gone all the way through the family planning guide.
Nice.
And the sits.
Nice. Same with you, Maria?
Yes, I've done different pieces. Mm-hmm.
How was your rapport? Did you find it easy to, or were they kind of just short with you and, kind of mean mugging you, or how did you guys think you did relating to the client in those instances?
Half and half. I think when they're easy to build rapport with, I'm right on par. But like when they're pretty stiff, Austin does a way better job than
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's my same issue. Well, there's only been like really one person that I was super hard with, but literally like she sat like this
Mhm.
the whole time and never said anything. And even Blake was like, "Oh my God, like she hated us so much from the time that she sat down at the computer. Like she just hated us.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
she
So
never said anything."
yeah, and that's you're gonna get that, and it's something that you kind of have to find the balance of having the control and also having them still like you. Like I kind of do it everything with a big smile is an easy way to go about it. If you're at the beginning and they're kind of sitting there and you're asking them, oh, where are they from, or that's a nice place, how long have you been here, and they're just 1 year. Yeah, it's great. Yes. No. It's kind of like I'll start to try to even. Oh man, Joe, I mean, you must have had a bad day at work if we're this down, right? Or something like that. I know we had a bad day, but you look like you hate me over there. I'll laugh or something like that. And they're all, people like you and us at the end of the day that are just waiting to actually relate to somebody, especially during these hard times where we don't really relate to people too much at all outside of our own house. So that's good. I knew you guys were going to tell me that it was a little bit tough because every single sit and every single awkward moment you get yourself into, it actually just takes you one step closer to becoming, having a flawless presentation. So keep doing that, keep getting used to the uncomfortable, and you'll find ways to get those rapport questions across. You almost just kind of are like a chameleon. You adapt to any person that you can. That they have a Trump flag hanging up, or maybe they got a Biden flag hanging up, then you can kind of assume. Now, you don't want to talk about politics, but you can kind of assume where that guy's or that girl's
It is.
likes and wants are tending to balance. Yeah. So, you can also their occupation, so sometimes when I'm getting like all the stiffness, okay. And I'll just act like I'm still setting everything up. I'll be like, I just wanted to ask you, how long have you been in the carpenters union while I get everything set up here? I don't got your file in front of me. And like, you kind of want to go through setting up the e-app while you're talking to them, and make sure you tell them when you get in there, how busy you are. And I'm sure Austin teaches you that, Maria, because that's, straight from Geo. But, that helps a lot too, because now they're not just you're not just in there like, oh, hey, and you're telling everyone you're so busy, and then they come in to talk and do the presentation, and you're just like, how are you? How's your family? You got anyone in there? Oh yeah, it's just a great day to be an insurance agent and ask you how your family is. So you want to kind of be looking like you're on the move, on the run. Just came from about 3 members before you. We've been all over the area. Now we're in virtual. Geez, you guys look like you're way out there, and I don't even know. I'm not even from Illinois, so I can play dumb and it works. I'll be like, yeah, you guys are all way out there in Peoria. That's like the middle of nowhere, huh? What do you guys like to do for fun around there? The questions can be out of order, and really what those questions are doing is they're helping you. They're just a guide for the kind of subject you want to be on when you're in rapport. So they can be out of order, and if you can just get that guy or girl to open up and just talk themselves about them or their career, or what they did or what they don't like or what they do like, agree. You always agree. You always, start laughing. If they're telling stories and getting out of their shell, I'll start cracking up. We had this guy yesterday in an in-person sit, and he was from Bosnia, and he's sitting there like telling us about how he does maintenance for apartment buildings. Oh my God, dude, you should see these apartment buildings. There's piss and shit all over the floors. He's like, I'm going in there like this, like it's a landmine. Feel the landmine, And he starts. I'm like, here we go. This is my kind of guy right here. Easy guy to go ahead and take really just a good rapport with. And once you get over that, guys, once they're talking to you and they like you and they're laughing or they're telling stories, that's when you can move on. And that's when they're going to hear these words. Because if you're presenting this 10,000 word script and somebody's sitting like this the whole time, how many of those words do you think they're really hearing? You know what I mean?
None.
Most words
they're
are
not
gonna
really
go,
hearing any of them.
right, because they're looking at you like, this is something else. Why am I here right now? I don't know, blah, 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 blah. So you really got to capture them and at the beginning, break that trust barrier down, show them you're just one of them. Separate yourself from any other sales presentation they've ever had as much as possible. And that's going to obviously be done through rapport. And you can do it throughout the presentation too, during a discount card, during the child safety kit. If the family comes up then and they've been sitting there like this the whole time, then you can get it then. You can crack them open later and the no cost benefits too. It's never too late. So that's a good tip for you know, Amanda, when you get in that situation again. But yeah, so that's how you got to understand that the sales go. For those of you who haven't been in sales for too long, unless you have a different setting, it's just like a teacher in school. Like, you got to remember back to the teachers that you didn't like, who were very short with you in the hallways and had no personality to them. You know, when you would go into their classrooms, typically you would have no excitement to be there. You really didn't like the teachers, so you weren't really looking forward to what they had to say. And it ends up being a lot harder to retain that information. Whereas you got those super cool teachers that cared about you. They might have talked to you in the hallway, talked to you on the side, and they have their personality shining when they come in their classroom. They're making it fun. You're going to listen and be able to hear what that teacher's saying with a lot more seriousness and importance than you would if it was the other teacher. So that will make everything else easier, hence the triangle there. That's just a quick tip before we get started, guys. Focus on being the best rapport builder you can, and try not to move on until they totally understand why we're here. And then they end up opening up and talking themselves, and you know, not just being very, you know, stern like most guys and girls try to be. But with that being said, guys, we'll move on to the script here. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if you guys can see it. Get my glass, my cup of water. I just set down. Can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
Okay. One second. I saw Amanda drinking that Dr. Pepper and I was like, oh man, I'm quenched as well. Need some water. I wish I had some Dr. Pepper though. You guys send one of those over here. Do you live in PA?
Me? No, I'm in Texas.
You're in Texas? How's everything in Texas with the COVID right now?
Pretty laid back. We're pretty laid back. I'm in a little town, so business as usual around here.
No one's shutting down?
No.
Good. That's good.
That's awesome.
Good to hear.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few things that are closed, but for the most part, it's just everything's as normal.
Yeah, yeah. Omar, are you still with us, buddy? Okay, so guys, obviously with the list of concerns, when you're going to use the laptop presentation like most of you guys do, I know Maria, you're obviously using the presentation that Gio and I have, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it's kind of tough to go through both of those right here, but this will sort of give us some general knowledge on the subject. So when you get to this point, you just got done with term and whole, and you want to let them know about these list of concerns with their union, and if it is a union, guys, this is very important to have a lot of belief in what we're saying here. You know, you have to literally act like you were just at that union meeting and this is what you heard, and you're the first one bringing it to them. You know, you want to really speak with passion here, and this is where we honestly start to stop joking around. If there's any joking around still going on in the presentation, you want to kind of end it here, and they'll let you know. That will let them know that it's time to be more serious, right? Because if we're gonna start talking about final expense protection and we're still cracking jokes and laughing, it's not gonna hit them as much. But you guys, Amanda, do you play the videos as well? No? Okay.
No. So we go through the final we go through these and then the needs analysis, and then we do play the freedom of choice video after that, and then that's the only video that we really play.
And then you plug in all the options and everything same way.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because I know they're always changing this sometimes. Don't want to go over stuff that you guys aren't doing.
But I don't know what everybody else does. That's just what we do. So.
No, you're all right. We're here to go over what that is for sure. What we do on our team though is we just draw the needs analysis like you see it here. And for funeral, we just go back 20 years, announce the price, 20 more years, announce the price, kind of show them what inflation is by doing that. And then we move forward 20 years and 20 more years until their life expectancy. And we draw the total out there and just plug it in on the whiteboard, you know? So, you know, honestly, which one would you guys rather see? Maria, are you pretty good with yours, or have you seen this other one? The computer, the slow computer, fast computer, slow internet.
Oh, she's frozen again. You're frozen again.
All right, guys. So I'll just go ahead and I'll teach you guys, since we got one that's doing ours and one that's not. I'll just go ahead and go over ours. And Amanda, you can take from this. You can take from this a lot of key pointers and see a different perspective on how we do this. So we always start ours off. I'll stop sharing my screen. So guys, we start ours off by letting them know, you know, your last no cost benefit that has been set up for you is actually your needs analysis. And I'll role play with one of you here. I'll role play with you, Amanda. I'll say, Amanda, do you have a financial advisor at all by chance?
No.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure. I don't even know why I ask anymore. Most people don't. But if you did have a financial advisor, they would typically come out to the house, or you would go out to them, and they would charge you between $700 to $800 for something like this. The union didn't want you to have to go pay all that money and waste your time driving out there. So they actually gave us the same needs analysis software that the financial advisors use back at the union in our computer here. And it's going to take into account the 4 areas where people fail to plan for the most. And we'll plug everything in that you do have, and it will determine if there's any gaps. If there is any gaps, it's going to recommend something. If there's no gaps, it actually won't recommend anything. So that's pretty similar to this intro to the needs analysis you guys use. Okay. And then I'll ask them, does that make sense? Right. After a long series of sentences, you always want to make sure you tie them back down. Does that make sense? You know, and make, if they're not looking at the computer, then there's a problem. You know, you got to make sure they keep looking. Raise your voice when you start the next sentence, lower it down when you're ending the last. Keep them, you know, attentive, guys. But I'll draw it out. I'll tell them we just like to start ours off on paper, and we'll plug it in. And I tell them it takes into account those gaps. I'll say the first area that everyone fails to plan for the most is actually funeral and final expense. I'll say, Amanda, do you have any idea how much a regular funeral is these days in 2020 now?
I don't know, maybe like 7,000.
7,000. So that's a close guess. That was a little bit earlier, but you know, these days the Census Bureau actually said last year the average funeral was anywhere between 12 to 15,000. I'll say, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money today. I don't know about you, but I don't have that laying around in my bank. But that's why a lot of people are doing cremations, Amanda. They actually said 52% of people are doing cremations these days. And that number is at an all-time high. But unfortunately, Amanda, what tends to happen to the price of things that are, you know, becoming more popular?
They go up.
They go up, exactly. So all the union is really getting at right here is they're not saying in the next, 5 or 10 years from now, but 15 years, 20 years down the line, if everybody keeps doing cremations and not as many people are doing funerals, at some point those numbers are going to be very close. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. And that's just, thanks for letting me use you for this, but that's just me proactively beating what? What do you guys think I said that about the cremation for?
So that at the end they don't say, oh, well, I'm gonna be cremated. It's only gonna be $1,000.
Spot on. Exactly. So we'll throw that in there. Sometimes when I know that there's really no need to talk about a cremation because they're obviously going to go all out, I won't even bring it up. But I'll say now 20 years ago, and you have to have neat handwriting for this. You got to make sure your circle doesn't come up as far as mine is. But I'll say 20 years ago in 2000, what do you think the average funeral was then, Amanda?
I have no idea.
How about you, Omar? What do you think? We need some Zoom training class. That's what we need. I'm just picking on you, brother. Don't worry about it. Back then, it was anywhere between 6,000 to 7,000. Right? Now, another 20 years back in time, Omar, I'm not even going to make you guess. You probably already see the trend here, right, Amanda? It was actually half of that again. It was anywhere between 3,000 to 4,000. But that was a lot of money back in the day, though. I think my mom was telling me when I was a kid that you used to be able to get a brand new car for that. And if they're anywhere over the age of 40 or 45, I'll definitely ask them. I'll say, you probably know better than me, Joe. That could probably get you a brand new car back then. Oh, yeah, I mean, at least something, Yeah, I mean, if you can't use that, if they're a little bit younger, you can start using other things. Oh, back in the 80s, I know my mom always used to tell me, Omar, that, I mean, you might be able, you'd be able to go to a bar and get a bite to eat and a beer and leave a couple dollars on the table and still have enough for a tip, right? And everyone can relate to that. Everyone's parents have told them that, and they know, if not already from their age, but from their parents. So get them to tie them down to some understanding of how inflation works right here, because they're going to need to realize this is why their funeral is about to be more expensive than it is today. I always use the old faithful. It's the gas can question. I'll say back in the day, that was a lot of money. I'll be like, you could probably get a new car for that. Amanda, do you probably know better than me. Do you know what your first gallon of gas was back in the day? Even if it was like in the 90s, do you remember what your first gallon of gas was?
In the 90s. How old do you think I am?
No, it's a joke. I know you're not. I'm just pretending that you're older.
No, I know. Yeah, I don't know, like 90 cents.
That's really accurate. That's what it was. Like in the late 80s, guys, it was starting to go to like, 90 cents to $1. Kind of anywhere before that time, it was 70 cents, stuff like that. So that's a big difference, even if you just got to say, I'll act surprised every time. I'll be like, wow. I'll be like 90 cents. If I went back in time to that gas station and, let's say I hopped in that DeLorean from Back in the Future. That's a good way to get him laughing, time down to this. And I said, hey, I'm from 2009 and that gallon of gas is going to be $4 a gallon. You would have looked at me like I was crazy, right? And they'll be like, yeah, and they'll say something where they agree. And it's like, but it's not crazy. It's just simply inflation, Joe. Do you notice a trend here every 20 years in America? Everything nearly what? Doubles, right? Right. And it's not just funerals and final expense and gas. It's milk, eggs, dairy, hell, even the material necessary to make this whiteboard, So guys, I'm sorry, Amanda, we're how old today? Amanda and Omar?
I'm 20.
28.
20 and 28? Wow, you guys are a young married couple.
My birthday's tomorrow.
Happy early birthday.
Woo, 21, big 2-1. Have a drink to yourself in the corner during quarantine. I'm just joking. I'm just joking, man. I hope you're gonna have a great time wherever you're going.
Vince, I'm gonna restart my computer because my mouse is extremely laggy. Like I cannot do anything right now on my screen. I'm trying to take notes. I'll just hop right back in. All right.
Sounds good, Joe. We'll see you. You can't leave the sit, Joe. We need you. This is your life insurance we're talking about here. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, buddy.
That's-
Restart
My
it.
mouse is like delayed and like I can't even do anything right now. So I'm just gonna force restart my computer.
You're good, man. I understand.
I'll hop back in.
It's all good. I'm recording it.
All right. Thank you.
All right, now it's just back to you, Amanda. So, so obviously, you said you're 28, right? Let's just say you're 38 instead. So we're 38. So if we were to pass away today, this is how much we would need so that funeral doesn't fall on the family. Now, if there's not an actual wife or husband or significant other, this is where you kind of want to introduce the idea of that falling on their kid, because a lot of single parents think that nothing's going to happen. They tend to think that whoever the breadwinner is, they're the only ones that need the life insurance. And, oh, when he goes, his life insurance will take care of me. What do I need it for, right? A lot of parents don't realize that, yeah, when the dad goes or when the mom goes second, the kids are going to be even worse. They're going to pay for the funeral. They're going to have to inherit all your stuff, right? So if there's not really a mutual marriage going on in your sit, kind of introduce it right here and tell them if that was going to be, if you were to die today, this is how much somebody would need to pay for your funeral. I know you put on the card there that your brother was the beneficiary. Is that who would be paying your funeral, Amanda?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So that's how much your brother would need. And then you're 28 today. So we jump forward 20 years ahead of time now. And the year will be 2040. Amanda, you're actually going to be 58. And what do we think is going to happen to the price of the funeral, obviously? Do you think it's going to be going up or down at this point?
Probably up.
What does history always tend to do? You can say, yeah, repeat it, say, yeah, up. Now, if you're losing them here and they're not like replying and they're just kind of like blankly staring, like they're acting like that it makes sense, but it's not. People are a little bit too scared and shy to stop you and ask questions. They don't want to seem like they don't know or that they're less competent than you. So you got to reach back out to them and make sure that that makes sense and repeat yourself if you have to. We only get one shot, guys. Odds of this person finding insurance when the next person sits with them is, pretty slim unless another agent gets their duplicate card, which shouldn't happen technically. Now, when we're 58, obviously, yeah, it's going to go up. You're right, Amanda. Keep telling them they're right. Tell them spot on. If they're doing it right, if one spouse keeps answering and the other spouse isn't, drag him into it. She'll get it right again. You'll be like, yeah, that's right, Amanda. How about you, Joe? How about you, Joe? You're a little bit quiet over there. What do you think? And they might not want to be participating, but they'll,
What was the question again?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Oh, now that you're listening, so I was telling her about the funeral and final expense, right? Yeah, you go through, trust me, guys, it's just like riding a bike. You just gotta race to get 100 presentations under your belt. And just like any other trade or skill set, you become very good at it and you know just about everything. You're sitting here and it's just like you're pushing buttons. Like you're just going through the same repeat every time. Like, oh, he said this. In my experience, I know that I need to say this. Oh, he said that. The wife looked like this. She looked at him like that. I know what's going on here. Let me input this here, right? You're like just a master with it, kind of. And Amanda, I'm sure you know what that's like, having your experience in sales before this. But more or less, guys, they're 58 now. You tell them about the price going up there. Make sure they're paying attention. Change the voice a little bit. Yeah, it's actually going to double anywhere between 24 to 30,000. And then another 20 years, guys, to your life expectancy there, 2060, you'll be 78 now. And you'll know you're doing a good job because you'll tell them they're going to be 78, they're going to be 58, and they're going to be like, oh, you're going to see them just be like, oh, I'm not looking forward to being older, And that means you're actually making them put themselves in that imagination of them being that age, which is good. So now you're 78. Hopefully we're retired by then, right, Joe? So we're actually going to be 78, and the funeral, obviously, it's not going to be going down. It's going to be between 46 to 60,000. I'll tell them that's how much And if you're like my supervising agent, Matthew, you write these things in different colors. Right? Is that still a thing?
For sure.
All right. So 46,000 to 60,000. I'll say that's how much everybody in your age group has, Amanda, to make sure that the funeral doesn't fall on the family. I will not say anything else but that. It's the same line. It's been the same line. My agents and my guys and girls mess it up all the time. They'll be like, that's how much you should, or we want you, we recommend you. All that, like, all of the littlest bit of doubt, it can't be in there. You have to be so certain. That's when a client makes a decision. That's when a client buys something. And this is something that my other SA, Nolan, taught me, is they need certainty. They need certainty. So that's how much you should have, would have, fumbling with your numbers, saying them slower. Don't even worry about what they're thinking. The better you are at letting everything they say go in one ear and out the other and taking emotions out of it, I mean, the better closer, the more sales you're going to get, the more families you're going to protect. So 46 to 60,000, that's how much everybody in your age group has, Amanda, to make sure that funeral doesn't fall on their family. Now, you're not looking at me or the company like these numbers are crazy, right? I don't got to pull out the inflation data chart, right?
No.
Right. So you have a nice relationship with them. You say that too, because I do have an inflation data chart. So when they are looking at me crazy, I have something right here that comes from a credible source that says from 1913 to 2013, it says the average inflation rate was 3.43%. And it uses that 3.43%, and it actually does the math for you from today's funeral price all the way till 2060. And on that chart, and you look at 2060, it says exactly what I wrote down. And then if they ever had any doubt in what I was telling them, they shouldn't really have it again moving forward. Documentation, credibility, supporting facts. That's what sells, not telling, not just telling alone. Unless you can really sweep people off their feet, like I imagine Austin's good at. Any questions on the funeral and final expense before I kind of go on to the rest of the needs analysis, because this is probably the longest you're going to spend. And if they're still with you at this point, you're in good shape, because right when this is over, you got to introduce the freedom of choice in our presentation. And that's where you can kind of get them back into paying attention. This is your most important document. We'll talk about the freedom of choice. It takes care of the funeral, blah, blah, blah. You guys know that script. If you don't, it's on the script. But that's where we'll introduce the freedom of choice and let them know, this freedom of choice is what's going to take care of the funeral for your family. So that's never a burden. And you pretty much give them 100% certainty that no matter where they go, no matter how they want buried, they'll never be ripped off. And that freedom of choice will always take the burden off of them in that horrible time of need. Not need, but of sorrow. You ever, when I sit down with people as well, and we're going over the will, or we're going over things that is very common to go through, I'll ask them, have you guys ever been an executor on an estate before? Have you guys ever dealt with a loved one passing away that was, directly in your family? And if they have, then when I talk about that freedom of choice, I might change a few sentences around, because I've been through a funeral too, and I know exactly what it's like when that dude's sitting there with the clipboard in his hand with a room full of caskets, like a little funeral salesman he is. Oh, your mom would really, really like that one with the Tempur-Pedic. It will take care of everything. It's actually going to be vacuum sealed. The other ones aren't sealed 100%. The bugs can get in, the air can get in. You're like, what? It's all going underground, buddy. It's all going to be 6 feet under. No, but this one has the gold rims and the spinners on it. Oh, you already, your wife already turned in the life insurance. It said you have 100,000. So we're definitely going to show you some of our recommendations, knowing that you have that much to spend here, right? If you guys think that doesn't happen, You're wrong. Now, does it happen in every funeral home? No. You got some good family-run funeral homes that will take care of you honestly and truthfully, but just like anything else in this world, those are few and far in between. So you sell that freedom of choice with some passion on what it does and how it makes them actually give a quote first without ever telling them what your life insurance is. And we tell them at the very end, I'll tell them, and this is true, I'll tell them I even have my dad on this because I know the darkest day in our life is when we lose our loved ones. And as much as I know about funerals, I just want to be able to hand this thing over and be done with it. But any questions on your freedom of choice or how that works? Right? And you guys can get away with, you might think that's corny, you might think that's cheesy because I'm pulling out stories like that, like I'm trying to be like salesy, but when you have a great rapport and I'm over here laughing and being myself, this nice younger guy named Vince who seems like he just means all well and no harm. And then I go and I get sad like this and I talk about my dad and I start recommending things. I mean, that's when they take it with the right impact. That's when they take it with the right, what's the word I've been trying to use? Not mindset, but they take it with the right like theme.
They empathize.
Yes, of course. They empathize. Yes, exactly.
So then they can feel it. Like you want them to feel it.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want any predetermined. Whoa, let her back in. Oh, she's in. Nice. But any questions on that, guys?
No.
Omar, how about you?
Nope. At least what I heard, no.
What'd you say, buddy?
I said no.
You didn't miss anything? You got it all?
Yeah, I kind of got all of what I heard at least, so it makes sense.
You have any? You want me to repeat anything? Now's the time.
I mean, did I miss anything when I was gone?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure I did, but anything that I should probably know, like, pretty good.
I'll make sure to send this recording.
Okay,
To you.
sounds good.
Now.
Yeah, I think you should listen to after. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt. I think
okay.
from when you started breaking it down from the 1980, right after that, you gave some really good nuggets. When you stop writing on the board, there's about 5 minutes of good information right there.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, we'll definitely have to send this over to you then. Mark that down in your notes, Omar, that we're about, right before, I don't know what this would be into the recording, probably somewhere between 45 minutes is where you can hear some good stuff about the needs analysis, some good nuggets. And that's what you guys want to do when you're with your trainers as well. If they're going through a sit and this guy's got universal and he's got all kind of policies and your trainer's going through all kinds of situations where you wouldn't even know what to say. I mean, you're going to be in that position like tomorrow, possibly when you go to present, so you want to record everything you can and you want to annotate your recordings with notes. So you don't got to sit there and listen to 2-hour recordings just to find one thing. Okay, here we go. At 35 minutes in the recording, let me check my phone. It says 35 minutes in. Gio actually just, he said how you would pull a policy for a POS, or he beat this guy's universal at 30 seconds, at 30 minutes, that way, you can skip right to what you need to skip to, write it down, practice it yourself on the way to your next sit. It's the only way to do it. Every sit, find out where you might have lacked, what you might have left out that your trainer taught you that you didn't say, and put it in there. Put it in there, keep repeating it. Look at it on the passenger seat. Most of you guys you guys are virtual, so even easier to sit there and study it while you're waiting for your next sit. Don't just sit there while you're waiting for your next sit and do nothing. Call, make action, treat it like an 8-hour shift. That's who's going to be ahead at the end of the day. Now, guys, the loss of income, after I go over the freedom of choice, I'll be like, all right, guys, I start to make it seem like we're almost done. bear with me. I know I've been dragging you through this for a little bit. Like that's a lot of information I just went over about the funeral and the freedom of choice. So we move forward very quickly here. I'll start to speed up my words. I'm like, all right, guys. Now the last 3 areas before we get out of your hair here, I'll say key words like that. Last 3 areas that we go over before we get out of your hair here is loss of income. We go over the mortgage, or you can say the last 3 areas of concern. That's what you'd actually want to say. The last 3 areas of concern that your union saw. If it's not a union, you'll just say the last 3 areas of concern is loss of income, mortgage, debts, and we split this up into savings. So this is something that's different from the laptop presentation that you guys use over there with Omar and Amanda. You guys use child education, it says savings. You use child education and debt, or yeah, college child education, yeah. So we draw it clockwise, then we'll draw it back. We'll start and go in reverse. So we'll start with debts, guys. Debts, do you guys have any debts that may fall on the family, like credit card bills, medical bills, student loans? Those are really the 3 big ones that they can come after you for. Omar, you don't got no debt?
Nope.
No, how about you, Amanda? If they tell me a number no? Okay, if they tell me a number that's under 5,000, I'll say, okay, we don't worry about anything under 5,000. I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill, if you know what I mean, guys. We've already gone through a lot, and if there's not any debt there, we don't need to have, we don't have to get a verbal agreement that that is something that they should worry about. You know, it's just gonna be there to kind of get their mind thinking about a general need for the insurance, not really any specifics or if they would be screwed or not screwed without it. That's really not the point we're doing with that. So with now that's going to be different. Now, some people you're going to run into, they might own a business, they might have a massive loan that's not their mortgage, and that is something that you can definitely sit there and hold against them. And oh wow, so you got a personal loan, business loan, $60,000 loan? Okay, holy cow, 60. No, I wouldn't say holy cow. I would just say $60,000. Okay, all right. So the thing about debt, guys, is we all have debt. Everybody has debt. And unfortunately, in the United States, as of about 12 years ago, they passed legislation that says debt just doesn't die with us like it used to. It actually goes on to your estate. And they can either, unfortunately, guys, they'll actually sell our valuables out of our estate, and they won't let our family have access to it if we don't pay off the debt that's in it. So that's why we want to make sure that if we have any debt left behind, that we go ahead and take it off this earth with us, because it's really no one else's responsibility but ours. Does that make sense, Amanda?
Yeah.
You guys want me to repeat that? Because that's a lengthy one, but that's what I'll say for debt if they got something big. If they got something big. I really won't go into that far if they don't. If they just got 10,000, I'll say, okay, guys, that's okay, 10,000. Okay, the thing about debt that the union wants to go over, the concern with the debt was, the legislation was passed about 12 years ago in the US that says debt just doesn't die with us anymore. It actually goes on to our family there, and it falls upon them. So we want to make sure that the debt that was our responsibility that we brought into this world, we want to make sure we take it out of this world with us as well. And then you'll say, you know, it's really no one else's responsibility but ours. You know what I mean? And you kind of can talk. This is how you come off unbiased. You know, you don't want to be the whole time. Any questions on the debt though, Amanda, or why the union saw that as a big area of concern?
No.
Okay, now we do savings. We do savings to figure out what they're saving a month, because if we get to the end, guys, and they say they can't afford it, what do you think we're going to bring up if they say they're saving $500 a month?
Their savings and how, well, if you continue to save this amount a month, but
Yes.
you pass away in 3 months, how much is your wife going to be left with versus?
Exactly. Yeah. That's right. And with someone that's one of those guys that want to save money and invest the difference, you can show him how he can still save money, take 100 of that savings, $100 a month, get himself a $100,000 whole life policy, only pay 25 grand into it, and be able to get 100 grand when he dies. Can't tell me that that's not smart. I can show them ways, guys. You want to have your rate book readily available, because it's going to show you their cash value at age 65, and it will show you their paid up option at the age 65. Have you guys ever seen what the paid up options do or how they work?
I've looked over the rate books with Blake.
Okay. So it's unfortunate Maria's freezing so much. I wish she could. This will almost be better just giving it as a homework assignment, giving the recording out. But, guys, so what I was saying is, Omar, have you had experience with the reduced paid up option, RPU, in the rate book?
I mean, I've looked at the rate book like with Josh, but I mean, I haven't really like got too deep with the paid up options. I know what they are, obviously, because of training.
All right.
Your license, but nothing too deep in.
Sounds good. So you guys are already familiar with them. So if you look at the paid up options in the rate book, I always use the $100,000 whole life policy as the example. It's going to show the best values. Okay. And you want to do this for people that are typically like younger than age 40 or 45, but you go in there and you show them that if they take their reduced paid up option at 65, and it's going to let them keep $85,000 of a death benefit out of the original 100 and never pay again, then you go and you do the math on how much he's paying till 65. That's where you get that ratio. He only paid 20 grand into it, but the company's going to let him keep a death benefit of 86,000. That's what you call a guaranteed return on your investment right there. For any guys that are, I want to buy term and invest the rest, or I want to save, or I got an IRA or a CD that's growing at 3%, which is not existing right now in this day and age. But they want to tell you about how something's gaining interest that they have that they can use instead. First of all, just keep in mind, keep this in your tool belt. Those are the things that we want to live on. We want to retire on. They're hard enough to get up to that $1 million that we need, $2 million that we need. We don't want to go taking any $80,000 chunks out of it just because we didn't want to spend $20,000 on life insurance. So it's not what you're going to say to them, but you'll find ways to convey this to them, very non-biasedly, that if you just took that IRA or that CD or whatever, not that IRA, it's going to be something that's not a retirement account, like a CD or bank savings, whatever. You can do the interest that he's gaining every month. Maybe he's gaining $100 a month in interest on his investment. Joe, I'm going to show you how to take that interest that you're gaining over here and turn it into 80,000 over here of guaranteed tax-free money when you die. Instead of paying the full 80,000 out of your investment, let's use the interest in your earnings now. Take out a $100,000 whole life policy for $100 a month. After paying 20 grand into it at 65, you can stop paying. We're going to let you keep 80. Keep your savings. That's great. Keep your investments. That's awesome. Always agree. That's awesome. Don't ever be combative. Yeah, you got those savings. You got that. That's great. That's awesome. How much are they growing at? Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. A lot of people have investments, Joe. This is called the feel, felt, found method, guys. If you want to take notes on this real quick, a lot of people have investments, Joe, and I feel you. You're right. I see what you're saying. I understand. Right. That's the feel. Agree with them. A lot of people, they actually have investments too, and a lot of our members, they felt the same way. But what they found is it was a lot easier to just take the interest earned on our investment, or just $100 a month out of that investment, still be able to have our investment to live on when we retire, and also take care of the life insurance, because we put just a little bit towards the life insurance. So a lot of our members found that they'd much rather pay a small monthly bill to get 100,000 of tax-free money than they would just pay out 100,000. It is taxed, and you do have to wait till you're older so you can take it, stuff like that. But it's good that you're saving, Joe. That's what you want to live on. This will be kind of what you want to die on. You know what I mean? That way it's not like oh, no, you're wrong. Cause he's going to be like, no, I'm right. You're going to be like, no, you're wrong. No, I'm right. And you guys are going to sit there and you guys are going to go back and forth. And all that shit needs to be saved for when you're listing the options down. You go ahead and start getting into that stuff before the options, you're in trouble. Even if it's just something that he's totally wrong about. Like, I got a term and it lasts forever and it grows cash value. I'll be like, oh, that's great, Joe. Anyway, with the needs analysis, you know, I'm going to wait until I pull his policy to address that, right? When there's facts on the paper. And that's even harder on virtual. Can you hold that up for me, Joe? What does that say right there on the front of that policy? Oh, yeah, flexible, universal life insurance. Oh, okay. Why don't you just turn the page for me? Usually you can see everything that you need to see on page 2. And they're going to be, oh, yeah, I see it right here. Yeah, let me know how long does that term stay the same price on the schedule of premiums? Oh, it says after 20 years, it goes up to $10,000 a month. What the heck? That dude's going to be like, he's not even going to know what he just said. And you're going to be like, yeah. So like we talked about, the term is, you know, always going to end up going away. It's not something we can have forever. You know, so that's a little tip on pulling policies. It's not impossible. Get them to hold that up. Get familiar with policies. All policies, the only thing you really need to see on them in the first are all going to be in the first 5 pages of that sucker. Pages 5 through 100 are all the same with every life insurance company. They just show you the different ways you can take it out, what all the definitions of every word means. You know, you don't need to see all that. Everything that you need in terms of what they're going to pay and how their policy's doing is in the first couple pages. You got to dummy proof it for the clients, though. Walk them through it. Hold that up a little bit closer. Go up, go down, go to the left. There it is. Hold it right there. All right, let it clear. Let it focus. So hold on to everything here, guys. And yeah, with the savings, I do a lot of side rants, just like Tommy. Wonder why. So with the savings, guys, that's how you can beat someone that's like, there's some people out there that like to invest, they like to save. They've been taught by a lot of mistaken people at a young age that whole life is a waste of money. A bunch of people that are reading a little bit too much of Dave Ramsey. Okay. So Dave Ramsey's got partnerships with a lot of investment companies. And what do you think Dave Ramsey teaches in all of his books? Buy term and invest the rest. Oh, buy term and invest the rest with who? Oh, you. Oh, wow, that makes sense. Okay. Buy term and invest the rest. We're telling a blue collar guy that makes $60,000 a year, don't spend 20 grand here to get 80. Go try to spend it in somewhere else with some almost commission-based scammy salesman that's just gonna end up overriding all your earnings with his administration fees. 3% administration fees a year with your financial advisor. What if you got $100,000 in there with him? He's taking 3% a year. What is that over 30 years? And you might be left with what? Hopefully that 1 million. What's that 1 million going to do? Oh, that's going to let me retire for 30 years. Okay, let's take 1 million and let's do what they say at the College of Financial Planning. They tell you you want to take 3% a year. Because what's 3 times 30? What's 3 times 30 years? 90%, right? 90% of that investment. So that's how they make you retire with a financial advisor. 401ks, you take 3% a year. So 3% of $1 million is $33,000 a year. I'm supposed to retire on that. $33,000 a year. That's why I'm not going to pay for whole life for my wife, because I'm supposed to have something left out of that that's already taxed on income. Read up, guys, get educated. But more or less, debts, savings, you'll find a way to convey everything in a proper way when you do get educated. When you first get educated, you'll just start throwing it out there and beating them over the head with it all. Now savings, guys, Amanda, what do you think you're saving a month? Do you have anything saved? I'll get a slight smile on there so they can, release some sensitive info here. Amanda, are you saving anything per month for that emergency day, that 2008 day? Do you save like $100 a month or something like that?
Not currently, but we were.
Okay. We'll pretend you were like, oh yeah, we try to save $100 a week. Oh, $100 a week. So about $400 a month. $400 a month. Great. Awesome. So, and don't even worry about saying anything right there. You don't have to. With the mortgage, guys, Amanda, do you have with the mortgage, this was an area of concern, Amanda, that the union saw, because a lot of people think that this is like their biggest asset. But actually, and like it's their biggest asset. Like if anything ever happened to me, I can sell, the wife can sell the house and they'll be happily ever after. But it's honestly like our biggest liability, because when we die, if our surviving family can't afford to take that mortgage over, what's going to happen to the house? We don't really even own the house. Who does?
The bank.
The bank. The bank owns the house. So if your wife doesn't want it, then they're going to sell it for their loan. And what do you think the bank's going to do when they sell it for their loan? They're just going to want to get their loan back. They don't care about no profit. And if they do, I don't think it's going to you. So a lot of people think the house is just going to fix everything when they die. You can't even sell a house right now in some places, let alone pay almost swore there, let alone pay $5,000, $10,000 to get it fixed up first. So these are all the ways that you have to sell yourself, guys, on why there's no other answer sometimes for these working class families besides whole life. And I used to be in the carpenters union, so I know what it's like over there. That's the best blue collar life you can almost get, is union negotiated wages. Now with the mortgage, guys, so most people thought it was their biggest asset. It's actually their biggest liability. Surviving family can't afford to take over the house. It's as good as gone. That's why they said that loss of income, our next area of concern. That's why they said that loss of income was the primary source of home foreclosures last year in the U.S., Amanda. So what would you say your mortgage balance is that's left on the house?
$220.
$220. How many years left?
29.
29. 29. We got a 29-year-old with a 29-year mortgage. No, you're 28 though. Anyway, I might have said the whole script first. You want to kind of ask for the amount first and then say the script, or ask for the amount in the beginning and then say the script. But that's that. And then I'll finish it. I'll wrap it up with, okay, 220. Okay, great. Now, is there any questions on why they saw the mortgage as a big area of concern? They noticed that there was nothing at work that was set up to pay for that if we were to pass away. Does that make sense why that was an area of concern, Amanda?
Yes.
All right, now the last area of concern we go over is loss of income, probably the most important area of concern. Amanda, if I were to tell you that, let's say I just cut Joe off, not to be rude or anything, but the men always go first, Joe. Sorry, buddy. If you were going to pass away, Joe, and you knew you weren't going to be coming home from work one day, Amanda, would you still be able to if you lost this paycheck for 3 months, would that set you back at all, Amanda?
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where you really got to get quiet. And I used to have my webcam right here, and I was so tired after some of my sits, I'd literally just lean on this wall and be like, yeah. So you want to get close to your camera a little bit and get a little bit soft with them for a second. Yeah, 3 months without his paycheck would set you, absolutely. And this is going to really put some imagery in their head. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if I took it a step further, Amanda, and I said that we were going to take his income away for a whole year, that would probably put us in a financial bind, right?
Definitely.
Definitely. That's what most of our members say. But so that's why they actually always recommend to have 1 to 3 years of your income set aside so that funeral, or so our spouse has time to adjust there. Being part of quality control, we do file a lot of the death claims. And one of the things we notice is when one spouse goes, the other spouse just doesn't get right back to work. There's that grieving period where they're having to pay for that same lifestyle that they used to afford with only half the income. So we just want to make sure there's a little bit there, not now until we're in our 80s, but at least just something. That way you lose Joe physically, but at least not financially. Does that make sense, Amanda?
Yes.
So Joe, what would you say your income is on a yearly salary? Like, what would you ballpark your income to be, Omar? Omar said 60,000. Wow, okay, that's a great income. And guys, keep in mind too, you want to write these in red like I was. I just kind of forgot because I've been zooming along here, but eligibility is huge. Loss of income, yeah, 60 to 180,000. That's a great income. Whatever it is, even if it's 40,000, that's a great income. Some people will be like, out here in Illinois where everything's expensive, they'll be like, no, it's not. and I'll be like, in Pennsylvania it is. But that's a great income, Joe. It's not to say that we don't appreciate that income, Joe. It's just we don't see it every day. It goes to things like bills, food, entertainment, the child education, everything. So we can imagine what just losing a little bit of that would do, right? Does that make sense, Joe?
Mhm.
Is there any questions on why they saw loss of income as an area of concern? And same with you, Mary. If Joe was to lose you first, he would be covered too. Right? So that is the needs analysis from myself, custom right there. Like I said, pretty much you're taking those list of concerns and you're putting them into the needs analysis and you're saying each one as you write it down. With this method though, you have to either plug it into the laptop after, which is always an option, or you'll have to kind of use your mental math to make the options up yourself. I wrap it up by saying, all right, guys, now I got an important question to ask you because I'm going to plug this in. This is where you tell them to go grab their shit, their policies. Excuse my language. I feel like I'm pretty comfortable with you guys now. I could probably swear a little bit, right? Yeah, maybe not. But you guys are going to want to grab their policies and plug them in right here. And that way, before you move on and you go telling them options, you know what they have. Because when you show them some options and they got a policy already, everyone that's got a life insurance policy think it's going to do exactly what they need it to do. Oh yeah, mine's whole life. Yeah, it lasts forever. It's $500,000 policy, Vince. It's like $20 a month. Oh, it's whole life. It's $20 a month. Wow. What company is that? I'm going to go work there. So make sure you pull the policy right here. And then when you pull it out, you educate them on what it is, have them hold it up, lightly educate them. Don't shoot the messenger. Sometimes I'll tell people, especially when they don't want to go get it. And I kind of get them a little bit scared. Oh, you get statements in the mail? Yeah, Joe, unfortunately, the only life insurance that sends you statements is that universal, that stock market insurance that we don't use. Yeah. Like I said, if it just takes you a few minutes to go grab it, just go grab it. It'll save us an hour. Imagine if I told you it's going to save us an hour and I've been in your house for one already. They're going to be like, oh man, I guess I got to go get my policy so I can have the right protection for my family. Oh man, what a drag.
I guess I have to go get this policy so he'll leave.
Yeah, exactly. But really, that's what we're doing. Like I don't want to be here. I don't want to sit here with you either. I don't want to have to sit here with you either, Amanda. No, I'm kidding. Client number one, I should say. I don't want, I'm trying to help you. Like that's what it all got to boil down to. I'm trying to do a good service here. If I got to make you a little bit uncomfortable and think I'm a little bit nuts, then that's what I got to do. And that's the selfless act of selling in this career right here. You got to take some flack. You got to learn how to be having the best script you can, presentation you can, mastering it so that they can do what you need them to do so you can protect them properly. A lot of times people can't even get to the point where they get anyone to pull the policy. They're so shy, they're nervous, they have internal objections. Oh, am I being pushy? Oh, this, that, and the other. Guys, just understand when you get out of there today, no one's going to see that person for a long time. Not from our company. And if they are, it's not going to be you. It's going to be someone down the hallway that's not even as good as you, and they're going to get the ALP for it because they did want to say what they had to say. They'll get the lifetime renewals off of it. Or State Farm will come by and they'll get them some car insurance and they'll say, hey, how much do you want? Oh, 100,000? Oh, okay, there you go. $10 a month on your car insurance bill. You're good. That person's like, yeah, I got life insurance now. They have no idea what just happened until someone from American Income comes out and says, please go get your policy. And they go get it and they're like, holy shit. That damn State Farm guy, Jake from State Farm, you know, so we have a duty that's more than just to get the sale here. Sometimes a lot of times I've been in the house for a long time and didn't even get the sale, but I showed that family every single thing that's going to happen that could be bad, good, and ugly with their policy. And it's up to them now to make that decision. And if that's what I got to do at the end of the day without getting paid, then that's all that matters, because that stuff's going to come back to me fivefold. Because someone's going to sit down with you and you're going to do very well in your rapport and you're going to win them on you. You're going to sell them on you, and they're going to pull their policies without even asking you a single question. They're going to pull them right away. You're going to make a 5K, 3K ALP sale when you commit to serving and not selling here. That makes sense, guys? Serve, not sell. First they buy you, then they buy the company, then they buy the product. Now, anyway, like I was saying before, I'll ask them before I plug your policy, before I plug everything in, go grab your policy. Okay, we got your policy. Now, Joe, if I had to ask you, no, I'm sorry. Before you go get them to get their policy, you do want to finish off the needs analysis by saying, okay, 60 to 180,000. Oh yes, the income. Okay, any questions on loss of income, Amanda? Okay, great. Now, guys, if I had to pick on you again, Joe, and I cut you off again, Joe, if you knew, Joe, that there was like a day marked down on the calendar where you weren't going to be coming back from work one day, almost like you could predict the future, like Final Destination, and you had time to plan for that day, which one of these areas would you want to make sure was guaranteed covered for the family, no matter when, no matter how, no matter what happened to your investments, no matter what happened to your career, no matter what happened to the economy, Maria and Omar and Amanda? If you could pick one of these areas that was always going to be guaranteed, taken care of for your family, no matter what, which area would you choose? Somebody?
Me. Loss of income.
Loss of income? Mm-hmm. Why do you say that? Not that that's the wrong answer or anything.
So that we don't have to worry about the other bills for a little while we figure everything out.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. You're right. See, guys, what I'm doing there? Now they're selling themselves. Why would you choose loss of income? Oh, well, I can't. I'd have to sell the house if Joe died. I mean, I don't even know what I'd have to find a new husband. Sometimes people say, or I got to find a new wife. And that's when you know you got him. And you know you don't got him when they start, I don't know which one. Are we done yet? Doesn't matter. Don't even let yourself get to the end of that kind of presentation. It's a waste of time. If the beginning is not good, you better make it good by the end or you're wasting time. You're going to show them options for nothing. Now, guys, I get them to say which one they care about the most. I sometimes get the husband to say his. I'll make them both tell each other what they want. I'll ask them why. I'll say, yeah, exactly. You're right. I'll say, there's not really one that's more important than the other, Amanda. They're all important. And they're all important because they have to deal with they pertain to our family. And if I asked you what the most important thing in this world was, Amanda, what would you say?
on family.
Family, exactly. Family, it's family. And if you had to put a price on family, what would you say it was?
I mean, you couldn't put a price on family.
Right? Priceless, right? Priceless. And if they're young and they have no kid, I'll be like, it's priceless, Joe. You know, when you imagine what your mother did for you growing up, you'll understand when you have your own kid that you'll do anything. Family's priceless. And that dude's over here thinking I got it, many years on him and I got a kid. I tell people I'm 29 all the time. My girlfriend has a kid. I tell them, oh yeah, my kid, she's 5. Just so they understand that I know what it's like. And I'm not just someone that's speaking from no experience, but a lot of us are young. You got to look, talk, and act like a professional and act like someone that knows this world. Now, obviously you guys know that, but that was kind of in there for Omar. Omar, you got a little bit of work to do with that.
What were you saying?
I don't know, brother. If you missed it, you missed it. That's why you
Oh,
got.
no, I heard it, but were you talking like presenting, or were you talking like to me?
No, I was just saying, man, make sure that you get educated on the current world events, and you just got to play the adult sometimes in these sits, because you're going to be sitting with grown men and women that are blue collar, and that's kind of their cup of tea, is just BSing like any other person. Oh, did you see the Cubs today? Oh my God, they've been 5-0 for 5 years now, whatever. But have them all plug it in and be like, yeah, it's priceless. You're right, Amanda, it's priceless. And now there is a price to pay to protect our family. And when do you think the best time to do that is? Right now, exactly now. So as much as I want to protect the family, as much as I want to get you guys out your union negotiated rates, as much as I want to get you caught up with all the other members, as much as your family does need this, I would just have to see if you can even qualify. Now, the first 5 questions are pretty bizarre. Don't think I'm picking on you. AA, NA, heart attack, cancer, you do all your questions. With your guys' script, Amanda, you guys actually qualify them first and then show options. So this workshop wasn't meant to get you twisted, Amanda. Keep doing what you're doing and keep following the script that you're following, because just like I'm so good at this one, there's a way to be that good with yours, and they're both the same. They're equally as good. There's not one that's better than the other. But I just wanted to show you, since you guys, we got Maria in here, and I'd rather pour out a lot of knowledge into this just to show you a different way to sell it. That way you can kind of combine some ideas in your head and know where to be with this when you're selling it. But I'm going to wrap this up with some questions, guys, for about 10 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. Does anyone have any questions?
No.
I'm good, but I wanted to ask you at the end if you'd go over the paid up option stuff with me. I didn't want to keep everybody on before, but I'm really interested in really putting some numbers to that, where you said the 100,000 and stuff like that.
Yes. Okay. Omar, you have any questions?
Not really. You explained it pretty well. I was taking notes throughout, so yeah, you like you said earlier. You said you do explain it a little different. You do compared to my script, but it's nice to see another way to explain it. I can probably implement some things you said in my own ways too in my script.
All right, good. Sounds good, buddy. If you guys want to stick around for 5 minutes, you can. I'll go over these paid up options. Let's see. I gotta go get the digital one. Oh, no, there's a rate book over here, isn't there? I think I just seen one. Aha. All right. Okay, guys.
I'm gonna hop off and watch the recorded part of this because I have a kid crying. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop off.
Good.
All
Hope you
right.
got a lot of intake from it, insight.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me know if you have any questions. Ask Blake for my number.
Okay, will do. Thanks.
All right. Yep. Bye-bye. All right, guys. So you have the rate book right here, right?
Where do I
Let
get that?
Let that clear up. So I got a digital version that I can go ahead and let me just pull up that.
Okay,
I'll email it over to you.
great.
Rate book. Omar, you got one too? Yeah, I think you probably did.
Yeah, I don't have a rate book, but I do have, some SC gotchas, but, I'll ask him about a rate book.
What's your email?
O-A-L-K U-R-E-I 19999 @gmail.com.
You sound like a robot over there.
Yeah, I was reading it off too, so,
Type it in the chat. 'Cause we're all messed up. I can hear an echo and everything. All right, Maria, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, what's your email?
I put it in the chat too. It's mariadrinkwater@aol.com.
All right. That's a good thing to remember. Drink water.
That is my maiden name, Bevilacqua. It means drink water in Italian.
Ah, are you from Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I'm from Pittsburgh. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's where I'm at right now.
You know, like Zach Bevilacqua and stuff?
I don't know, Zach. Bevilacqua is like Smith in Italy. It really is like that common of a name.
Okay, I went to Peters Township High School with the Bevilacquas.
Okay, not related.
Okay.
But my dad's the youngest of 7, so there's a lot. I mean, we kind of span out.
All good. I thought that was just like something that you were maybe on like a health thing for a little bit, and you're like, drink of water, something, because it really is. And I thought you put it on there just to like kind of joke with yourself and remind yourself.
Consequently, I do have an alkaline water business where I sell those machines. They're from Japan. I've had them for 12 years. I've been doing that too. So it kind of works out.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right, let me know when you guys get that email.
All right. What do I want to do?
You probably are just going to want to follow along.
I'll pull it on my phone probably. So do you actually pull this out in a presentation? Do you need it, or are you just using part of it as like memorization?
So if I have to mention it like quickly to somebody,
Uh-huh.
during that needs, like I usually don't go into like paid up options, but I'll bring up like the whole, much rather you pay 20,000 now to keep a 100,000 tax-free payout. I'll use numbers quick, but no, the rate book is always going to be during the options. In rare instances, like someone that you just know is buying today, like they came here for life insurance, like you can pull this thing out, like, maybe a little bit before the options if you want, but like most of the time, this is like after you give the options, you'll be like, oh guys, and by the way, I know I was talking about the paid up options and the cash value earlier, right? You remember that? Let me show you how those work a little bit before you choose an option today. And I'll just pull out the rate book.
Should we print the rate book or we gonna get one?
I'm sorry. Did you?
I can't hear him either.
Yeah.
Should we print the rate book or are we gonna get one?
That wasn't any better, Omar. You can't hear yourself, but
Type it in the chat.
like Star Wars or something.
I know. All right.
Sorry, Omar. Much love over there.
All right. So can you guys here? Let me just open it up in the PDF viewer then.
Yeah, I don't know what page you're on. I'm trying to.
I'll go back to it again here. I always go to the 100,000, like I was saying before. It's like in the middle.
Okay. Let's-
You know, we'll say 100,000 select life.
Okay, I got it. Let's see. Non-tobacco.
Yep,
Okay, it's page 16 of 43, it looks like.
found it.
I'm screenshotting it so I can mess with it and it not disappear on me.
Yep, good. All right, so let's do an example on like a 30-year-old, right?
Actually, let's pick 48. Can you? Do you mind?
No, that's fine. Yeah, 48. So like the $50,000 page and the $30,000 page, you don't really want to do this math with.
Okay.
Even if they're just choosing, like, even if they're not going to choose 100,000 today, you still just want to show them 100,000 as the example, because it's going to show them a lot more favorable result. You know, it's not to say that they don't earn like they do on this one with the other options, but this one just shows the most earnings and will get the job done and make them make a decision that day. And that's really, at the end of the day, that's what's best for you and the client.
Okay.
But you can see here, the $100,000 policy is so good that it still might show you a little bit of a profit. But if you look down here, you know, they're paying $206 a month. This column right here says values at age 65, right?
Wait, why do I have a different chart than you? Which chart do you have? Select. Wait, you're on Select Life Tobacco User. I'm on. Do you want me to be on that? I'm on Select Life Non-Tobacco.
Oh, get back off non-tobacco. There you go.
Okay, great.
Okay, so yeah, so see how it says values at age 65?
Yeah.
So I always tell them, I'll be like, Joe, you know, let's say you went with option B today for 100,000, and we talked about the cash value and the paid up option. Right here, it says values at age 65. You really got to dummy proof it for them. If you go over here to RPU, that stands for reduced paid up option. That's actually what the company will allow you to keep as a death benefit if you never pay us another dime at the age 65, if you stop paying. So let's say you call me up one day and, you know, let's say you call me up one day and you said, hey, Vince, you know, I'm retired now. I'm on a fixed income. I don't think I need 100 grand anymore. If I take my paid up option, what can I keep? And I'll use 48 as an example here. I'll be like, yeah. I'll be like, you know, and you'll say, what can I keep, Vince? And I'll tell you, look, you can actually keep 55,700 out of the original 100.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part about that, Maria, is you've only paid a fraction of that into it. I'm hoping. I've actually never done this for a 48. I think I've done it before. So you take you'll say now you'll get to keep 55,000, but you only paid this much into it, and you'll proceed to do the math for them. 158.92 times 12 is what?
I don't know. Let me grab a calculator for you. Hang on.
Oh, you're good. I got one. I was just seeing if you have one up already. Or do you got one? That would probably.
I usually do. I actually am a part-time math teacher. Don't hold that against me. Don't ask me every math question. It's not like I'm a human calculator. I got 190704.
190704. Okay, so we'll take that and we'll times that by how many years it takes to get to 65 from 48, which is 17.
To what age? 65, 48 to 65? That's what you're doing? The gap there?
Yeah, that's 17. Yeah.
20.
So you take that premium you just did, the annual premium, and you times it by 17 years.
Okay, got it. Years, and then subtract it from 100,000.
No, that's just, you're just showing them how much you paid into it.
Oh,
And
okay, gotcha.
we're going to show them that they get to keep 55,000. So.
Right, so you paid into it $32,419.68. What I'm saying is, if you subtract that, you're actually making money in there.
Yeah, because they're going to get to keep 55,000 as a death benefit.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so exactly. So there you go. Like you just pay this investment for 17 years and you're able to keep, you know, almost 20,000 or whatever that number of difference was.
How does that work? Do they have to call us and tell them that? Tell them, hey, I'm not paying anymore. I want it.
Say I want to take my paid up option. Yep.
Okay.
And there's a paid up option for every year. Every year of your policy has one. This is just showing you the ones for 65.
Okay.
If you want to see the ones that every year, you'll go down to the back of the rate book, and there's a number value for every age, and you actually just use that number value, you times it by the death benefit. I'll show you that in just a second. Or actually, I might be running out of time though, but so yeah, so that's good for even that age. And then you can go up here when it's in the 30s, it's even better. They get to keep 77,000 and stuff.
That's good. Well, I have a personal friend that's close to that age. I happen to be that age. So anyway, I'm going to be talking to him on Saturday. He said, let me know when you get your license. So I need to know these kind of things for him, because those are the things. I think he already has a policy. He wants to do better. And so I want to be able to make sure that we cover that stuff.
Yeah. Make sure, if it's a universal life policy, make sure you get with Austin and kind of are able to properly beat that up for him, because universal life policies are going to be telling these clients pretty much when they buy it that you're going to get more cash value, you're going to pay less, and it's going to last forever. And the price will never change, and the death benefit will never change. If anything, your death benefit will grow. That's what they'll tell. And there comes the word variable, flexible. It'll say variable life, or no, variable premium, adjustable life. It's all kind of combinations. Adjustable premium, variable life, variable premium, adjustable life, flexible premium, adjustable life. That's a common one. If they can flex your premium and adjust your death benefit, and the older you get, the more expensive that company has to pay to insure you. I mean,
Got it.
realistic here. They're relying on major returns from their cash value in these stocks to compensate for the increase in your cost of insurance at your older ages. And what happens is their returns don't materialize always as much as they wanted to, or most of the times they're just poorly invested by the company. And you get to be old, you're 70 years old, and it's on paper to that business, they're charging you they're being charged $400, $500 a month just to insure your 67-year-old self. And they still got you down here paying $50 a month, so it's like that difference there is actually made up, and it's taken from their cash value, and it's supposed to actually drain the cash value by the time they get to their 80s and kind of keep their price the same. But it just don't happen. Most of the times it drains their cash value before that. And to keep the policy alive and to ever have a chance of it paying out, they need a bigger monthly premium from you to make the investments materialize better. They're big lawsuits. If you just Google universal life lawsuit, you'll see many lawsuits on State Farm, AIG, Prudential for misusing universal life funds, and having a bunch of policyholders sit there and be told at the age of 65 that they have nothing left and there's no way to save it until they pay this much a month, and they can't even afford it. And I've been in that situation many times. That's why the best policies that we provide to this industry is the whole life, because these people don't need nothing like that they have to dump hundreds into, or thousands. That's more for people that are higher net worth, and they have the money to do that. With the whole life, it may not be as much cash value profit, but at the end of the day, the cash value is guaranteed to be in there, and there's a guaranteed paid up option right there next to it.
Sure.
And sometimes that's just all they need. You always want that guaranteed part of your portfolio, no matter what. And this whole life is the only way to get it these days.
Gotcha.
So
how does that affect their that 4.5 savings? Does that?
It sacrifices the cash value for that paid up option.
Okay, got it.
Yep, good question.
Yeah. Okay, but you can't have it all.
Yeah. I always tell people too, I'm like, you can, when they're younger and they're not really thinking about death, I'm always telling them, like, you'll either find out that you need that when you're older, unless you're like a billionaire, maybe you don't. And then I'll be like, even the richest people on planet Earth need whole life, because they do. Estate taxes, they use it to take care of estate taxes.
Yeah.
But I'll be like, if you find out you don't need it, you got your cash, you can have 40,000 in there. You can take it and run.
Yeah.
Either way you look at it, it's a win-win, unless you're, starting to become age 55 and above, 50 and above. You're right there at that point where it's good to grab something, especially our $100,000 policy, because you'll never get close to paying that much into it. But when you turn 55,
You trying to sell me? Is this going on?
I wanted to tell you when you hopped on and told me that your age was 48, that you did not look like you were 48. But
Oh, thanks. Bonus points.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I gotta stay tight with
It's the water. It's the water, man.
Yes, the water.
It's the water.
All about the aqua.
Proper hydration is key. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, thank you for all your time today. I appreciate it. I'll see you around. Austin's been awesome. So I'm with the best, and she'll help me on Saturday too. We got a lot of work to do in the next 3 days. So
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right. Take care, Maria. Have a
Okay.
good.
Thanks, Vince. See you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Omar.
Bye.
Omar, you all good, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, man. I'll see you around.
Peace out.
Keep grinding.
Thank you. You too.